Here comes season 4. New ideas to be excited for. Central nervous system is the ideal lore. Great to learn, great to explore. Little long, but novelty of ideas and updates keep it away from the bore. Let's begin another saga of episodes. Fresh enthusiasm and zeal and spirits high soared. Some new concepts and some to be applied old. Intricately and beautifully, pharmacology unfolds. Let's all get set. 1, 2, 3, and go. Welcome all to Is Pharmacology Difficult podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Radhika Vijay, MBBS MD, Pharmacology, and this is the audio hub to get the best simplified basic tips, strategies, methods, and lots of ideas to learn better, understand better, and make your concepts crystal clear. If you really find, and if there's a question hovering in your minds, is pharmacology difficult? Lend me your ears for a while and let in the magic of knowledge. Central nervous system is a very important topic. It comprises of group of connected and interacting cells which together work via neurotransmission to make possible many life processes in a perfectly beautiful manner. Since they manage the most auspicious physiological conditions, the drugs associated with them, they are definitely the most privileged and important aspect of study of the subject pharmacology. Great researches and investigations have been made and are still on the go to explore and comprehend the best aspects of neuronal signaling. Much is on the untouched sites, still to be explored. The complicating aspect is that the drugs for the CNS may show activity at more than one site or receptor, and they may have both agonist and antagonistic effects at different sites. The brain meshwork, it further adds up to the arduous comprehension and research of the drugs. All in all, we can be sure enough to hit the goals for this study, like first, clarify the CNS picture. We need to develop the drugs biochemically in order to understand and manipulate the central nervous system. And second goal, to correct and cure the abnormal and pathological CNS conditions. Now, for the second goal, we need to be deeply and delicately analyze and study the receptor structure, the neurotransmission, the drug interactions, the signaling process, and the pathway. Let's talk about the basic unit and the primary functional and the communicating cell, the neuron. Neurons, they are the primary and the basic unit of central nervous system. I'm sure you all have studied the neuron structure and the basic functions in your lower classes. Now, neurons make happen all the processes and everything. All the neurotransmission, information flow, and everything possible. They are highly polarized cells and have many subtypes. Now, why they have many subtypes? Why is there a lot of classification? Well, the classifying factors, they are the function, the morphology, the sites in the brain, and the different receptor types. Now, the neurons, they are made of many ion channels, and the ion transport protein, it makes the nerve conduction possible. Cytologically, they are very actively secretory cells. The prominent cell features are, I'm talking about the structure of the cell. Well, it contains a large nucleus, a very great smooth endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi bodies, their lamellas, their layers. And these Golgi bodies, they serve as secretory bodies. The secretions, they are carried to the axon or the dendrites. The synapses, I'm sure you've heard of this term. Synapses, they are the interneural spaces which have a lot of similarity to the junctions which are found in the autonomic nervous system, the somatic motor systems. Now, there are synaptic vesicles which store the neurotransmitter. The neurotransmitter is finally released, and the synaptic vesicles, they again store it. This released neurotransmitter, it acts on the next cell, and the neural communication and the physiological activities, they all are happening. A little structural details I'm going to give you about the neuron. It involves a central nucleus surrounding perikaryon, the emerging dendrites and the axon. In the axon, you would find the node of Ronwehr and the branches in the presynaptic terminals. Then comes the synapse and the postsynaptic cell. The dendrites of the postsynaptic cell, they are in great communication with the presynaptic terminals of the former cell or the neuron. There is one apical dendrite also. It branches apically, and finally it may have an excitatory terminal and an inhibitory terminal. The myelin sheath, it covers the axon, but it is absent at the node of Ronwehr. So that's all enough for the introductory episode of the central nervous system. We have understood the basic essence of this system, the things we're going to study about this system. We have talked about neuron, that is the basic and the functional unit of this system. And what further we're going to do? We're going to further talk about non-neuronal cells, neurotransmitters, their sites, their receptors, their interactions, their functions, and finally the pharmacology, the pharmacotherapy of the various pathologies, abnormalities in the central nervous system. Oh yes, I'm looking forward to a very long season 4. And it's gonna be very interesting because anything about the brain or the central nervous system can never be boring. After all, it's our brain, and the brain makes it all happen. The brain is the thought, the mapping site, and the brain has the ideas and everything. The brain controls the whole body. So studying about it gonna be so nice and informative. All the interesting, wonderful, and exciting, surprising new things coming up on the way in the season 4. Looking forward to a great season 4 with every one of you. Do keep listening. For all the updates and latest episodes of my podcast, do visit www.ispharmacologydifficult.com, where you can also sign up for a free and monthly e-newsletter of mine, that is Pharmacology Further newsletter. It has an associated Pharmacology Further podcast, which is totally separate from this one. You can follow me on different social medias like Insta, Twitter, LinkedIn, etc. They are all with the same names, is Pharmacology Difficult. If you're listening for the first time, do subscribe and follow whatever platform you are consuming this episode. Stay tuned. Do rate and review on iTunes, Apple Podcast. Stay safe, stay happy, stay enlightened. Thank you.